No, I am not wearing this on purpose, but the eagle really does always watch over. Hi, I'm Tyler, and I'm here to let you know that Assassin's Creed is no perfect movie, but you probably already knew that anyways. So in Assassin's Creed, convicted murderer Cal Lynch, played by Michael Fassbender, is saved from his execution by Abstergo Industries, led by Alan Rickman, played by Jeremy Irons, and his daughter Sophia, played by Marion Cotillard. And they try to hook him up to a machine called the Animus that allows him to relive the memories of one of his ancestors so they can locate an ancient artifact called the Eden's Apple, which could take away free will from all of humanity. If there is anyone that you root for in this entire movie, it is Michael Fassbender. When he relives memories of this ancestor for the first time, and he begins to hallucinate this ancestor and imagines fighting that person, you really feel the horror that he's feeling, especially considering this ancestor belonged to an organization that was responsible for the death of one of his past family members. And Cotillard is given a motivation that is good enough. She does want to cure homicidal and violent needs in human behavior, and she does stay true to her word. She doesn't want to put any of her patients' lives at risk. But Cotillard herself gives a very dull and monotone performance, as does Jeremy Irons, who's not really given much of a motivation outside of being part of this secret society that, of course, is in charge of the world. And if there's any enjoyment to be had out of him, it's because he presents himself as a slimy individual thanks to his very deep accent and his very disturbing facial expressions. Now, the main reason I had high hopes for this movie is because of Justin Kurzel, who has proven himself to be a good director with movies like The Snowtown Murders and the recent adaptation of Macbeth, which a lot of people really loved, and even more so that Adam Arkapaw, who is famous for being the cinematographer for things like True Detective or this year's Light Between Oceans, which he made that movie good. And despite the fact that there are some really breathtaking shots of Madrid in the present day, as well as in the Spanish Inquisition, that have a lot of artistic detail to them, and some action scenes are shot in steady wide takes, especially the parkour scenes in the past. But most of the hand-to-hand fights in this movie are filmed with either shaky camera work and the fact that every time someone gets hit or stabbed, they cut right on impact. Probably just so this movie could get a PG-13 rating and get the audience from the video games. And that's kind of disappointing considering IMDb clearly states that 80% of the stunts were done without CGI, and when you can see the practicality, like again, the parkour stunts and this really cool prison break at near the end of the movie, it all looks really nice. It looks fluid, the choreography looks creative, you can see the actors are actually doing all their stunts, so I don't know why they're trying to hide that. The other major issue is that there are so many side characters and so many plot details that aren't really given much detail to them because of how rushed the movie's pacing is. There's a subplot where Michael K. Williams, as a character from the game named Baptiste, and several other inmates in this hospital prison-like location where they're trying to organize a breakout. But because we spend so much time with Fassbender and Cotillard in the Animus, we don't really get to know how they managed to obtain weapons and managed to bypass security for this breakout. And even with the ancestors, you don't really give much of a motivation as to why they are so willing to risk their lives for a religious cause. They're just there to set up an action scene that takes place entirely in the past, and that's really about it. And as for the Animus itself, as cool as that is, I had trouble buying into the fact that you can genetically possess a human being and not be able to change any of the past, just relive it. I had trouble with understanding the rules with that, and there's an implication near the end of the movie that suggests that it is a spiritual connection where he starts to see these really weird visions, but without spoiling anything, it just came off as being so ridiculous and so far-fetched. Assassin's Creed might be the best video game adaptation yet, but that's not really saying much. Because some of the acting is good, and some of the direction is visually sleek, but when some aspects aren't well handled, like the action scenes, the pacing, and a lot of character development, it is really disappointing. And for that reason, I'm going to give Assassin's Creed a 2.5 out of 5. Guys, thanks as always for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, check out my other reviews at NoPerfectMovie.com. Stay tuned this Boxing Day. I'm going to have my review up for La La Land. And after that, I'll be putting on my Best of the Year list and my Worst of the Year list. Thanks again for watching. Take care.